I was sipping coffee in my kitchen window, the morning sun glinting off my backyard pool, when I spotted her again. There she was, Linda Harper from 3 houses down, strutting through my gate like she owned the place. Her garish sun hat flopped with every step, and that faded terry cloth robe screamed she'd given up on style years ago. I watched, jaw tightening, as she shed the robe and dipped a toe into my pool. Then came the scream-a-piercing, horror-mo-vye wail that nearly made me drop my mug. Linda flailed backward, arms windmilling, as if the water had bitten her. Steam curled off her skin as she stood there, shivering, her face a mix of fury and shock. The pool, a perfect 85 degrees Fahrenheit yesterday, was now Arctic cold. Something had shifted, and Linda was about to learn what. 6 months earlier, I'd moved into my dream home in Willow Creek Estates, a quiet suburban haven with tree-lined streets and a homeowners association that promised to keep things civy list. The house was great, but the real draw was the in-ground Poola private paradise after years of cramped apartments. I pictured lazy morning swims, weekend barbecues, the works. What I didn't picture was hosting an Yunan VY TED guest with an ego bigger than the state itself. It started small. I come home to wet footprints on the pool deck, clearly not mine. I brushed it off, maybe maintenance guys or a neighbor chasing a stray dog. Then I noticed chairs rearranged, sunscreen bottles bobbing in the water, towels I didn't own draped over my furniture. One day I got home early from a dentist appointment and caught a glimpse of someone in my pool. By the time I reached the backyard, they'd vanished, Leah VYing only damp tracks and the faint whiff of coconut lotion. I mentioned it to my neighbor, Tom, a retired mechanic who knew everyone's business. He leaned in, voice low, like he was spilling classified intel. "That's Linda Harper," he said, glancing around. "HOA president. Lives in that tacky colonial down the street. Thinks her title's a free pass to everyone's stuff." Tom explained Linda's history, using neighbors' grills at block parties, pilfering community gardens, even rearranging someone's patio because she thought it looked wrong. But sneaking into my pool, that was bold, even for her. I decided to confront her. I found her address in the HOA directory and knocked on her door one evening. She answered in a floral housecoat, looking like I'd interrupted her soap opera. "Linda Harper?" I asked, keeping it polite. "I'm your new neighbor on Oak Lane. Can we talk about my pool?" Her fake smile vanished, replaced by a sneer. "Oh, you're the loner," she said, not inviting me in. "I've heard about you skipping HOA meetings, dodging neighborhood events." I was stunned but pushed on. "Someone's been using my pool without permission, and I heard it might be you." Linda's eyes narrowed. "That pool's community property," she declared like it was gospel. "The HOA oversees all amenities." I kept my cool. "No, ma'am, it's on my private lot, part of my deed. Not communal." She doubled down, voice rising. "Everything in Willow Creek's under HOA control. As president, I ensure resources are shared. A pool like that shouldn't sit empty when neighbors could use it." I couldn't believe her nerve. "You're trespassing," I said firmly. "Stop using my pool." She laughed a sharp, mocking cackle. "Trespassing? Sweetie, you don't get how HOAs work. Come to a meeting and learn something." Before I could respond, she slammed the door in my face. Over the next few weeks, Linda got brazen. She didn't just sneak inch, brought friends, turning my backyard into her personal resort. I'd come home to towels strewn everywhere, soda cans floating in the water, music blaring from portable speakers. I installed new locks and cameras, but Linda treated them like a game, picking locks and dodging camera angles. Confronting her again was useless. She'd wave me off, lounging in my pool like a queen. Things hit a breaking point one Saturday when I found 6 strangers ing a full-blown party in my yard. They'd brought coolers, floaties, the works. When I asked them to leave, a woman snapped. "Linda said this pool's for HOA events. You're just being a jerk." I called the cops, but by the time they arrived, the crowd had scattered. The officer was kind but blunt. Without clear VY Deo or witnesses, his hands were tied. He suggested I file an HOA complaint. Big surprised the board, packed with Linda's cronies, brushed me off. At the monthly meeting, they called it a neighborly spat and suggested I was the problem for not sharing. Linda sat in the front row, smirking, whispering to her allies like I was some antisocial Grinch. That night, staring at my pool, I knew the system wouldn't help. Linda had the HOA in her pocket, and my locks and cameras were child's play to her. I tried talking, pleading, even threatening. Nothing worked. It was time to fight dirty. The next morning, I called a Poolsare VYC and met Dave, a technician with 20 years in the game. I laid out my problem, a trespasser and useless HOA, and my need for a subtle counterattack. Dave grinned. "Ever heard of a variable temperature controller?" he asked. He described a system that could swing the pool from scalding to freezing in minutes, all from a remote inside my house. It looked like standard equipment. No one could prove it wasn't a glitch. I was sold. Installation took 2 days and a chunk of cash, but it was worth every penny. Dave showed me how to work the remote, programming hot and cold settings. We tested until perfect. "Timing's key," he warned. "Water takes a minute to shift. And don't go overboard. You want to deter, not injure." I nodded, already picturing Linda's face. 2 days later, I was working from home when I saw her slip through my gate, beach bag in tow, ready for a long swim. I grabbed the remote and parked myself at the kitchen window. Linda set up her towel, kicked off her sandals, and stepped onto the pool ladder. I hit the ice-cold setting. In 30 seconds, the water plummeted. Linda was waist-deep when it hit. Her smug grin twisted into a gasp. She shot upright, shivering, splashing like a fish out of water. She tested the water again, muttering, then grabbed her stuff and stormed off, glancing back at the pool like it had betrayed her. Over the next week, I hit her with random freezes and scalding spikes. Once, I let her swim for 10 minutes before cranking the heat, watching her scramble out, red-faced and baffled. The system was perfect, unpredictable, untraceable. Linda, a control freak, was unraveling. She'd dip a hand in first, wary, but I'd still catch her off guard. After 2 weeks, her VY sits dwindled. She was spooked, her confidence shot. My pool was no longer her playground. But Linda wasn't done. A month later, I got an HOA letter signed by her claiming resident concerns about my pool's unsafe equipment. It demanded an inspection or I'd face fines. My lawyer friend confirmed it was a bluff. The HOA had no power over my private pool without proof of a public hazard. Linda was fishing, desperate to crack my temperature trick. I ignored the letter, kept my cameras rolling, and built a case with hours of footage showing her trespassing. Her harassment ramped up. She sent safety inspection flyers, banged on my door at odd hours, left threatening notes. One night, I caught her in my yard with a flashlight, poking at my pool heater. When she saw me, she didn't flinch, just yelled about HOA authority through my window. I told her she was on camera and trespassing. She hesitated, then stormed off. Linda was obsessed, and my trap had only made her digging harder. The showdown came on a sweltering Saturday. I heard voices and peeked out to see Linda leading 8 people HOA board members, their families, into my yard. She'd unlocked my gate and was playing host, directing folks to set up coolers and towels like it was her pool. I grabbed my phone, hit record, and marched out. Some guests shifted uncomfortably as I approached. "This is private property," I said, voice steady. "You're all trespassing. Leave now." Linda stepped up, smirking. "As I've told you, this pool's under HOA control. We're here for a safety check and community event." Out on my ground, still filming. "This is my property. You have no authority. Get out." A few guests grabbed their stuff, sensing trouble, but Linda barked, "Stay put. He's bullying you out of your rights." Then, to prove her point, she strutted to the pool and climbed in. Perfect. I hit the cold setting. The water, a cozy 82 degrees Fahrenheit, plunged. Linda swam a few strokes before the freeze hit. Her shriek echoed. She thrashed, arms flailing, as if the pool had turned to ice. Guests froze, watching their fearless leader splash like a drowning cat. She clawed her way to the shallow end, lips blue, shivering in a towel. "What did you do?" she screamed. "What's wrong with the water?" "Nothing," I said, phone still rolling. "Heaters glitch sometimes. Maybe you should have inspected it like you planned." Her guests backed away, some embarrassed, others horrified. Whatever spell Linda had over them was breaking. One board member, Greg, cleared his throat. Linda, we should go. This isn't right. She spun on him, teeth chattering. He sabotaged it. He knew we were coming. How? I asked. You didn't exactly RSVP for your trespassing bash. Guests exchanged looks, doubt creeping in. Linda, desperate, shrieked. This pool's a hazard. As HOA president, I'm shutting it down until it's inspected. That's when I pulled my ace. Since you love HOA rules, I said, pulling out the bylaws I'd carried for weeks. Let's read Section 12. Private recreational facilities on Indy VY dual lots are under the owner's sole control. The HOA has no jurisdiction over private pools. Silence. Guests stared at Linda, betrayed. Greg looked floored. Is this true? He asked. We have no authority here. Linda stammered. It's open to interpretation. Safety trumps property rights. I cut in. No, it doesn't. And you need a court, not a pool party, to prove it. Guests started Leah VYing, grabbing coolers, avoiding Linda's eyes. She tried one last plea. Fine, go. But when someone gets hurt in this death trap, don't blame me. As she turned to storm off, I called out, one more thing, Linda. I've recorded this whole stunt, plus months of you sneaking in. It's all going to the police Monday. Her face went white. She opened her mouth, then bolted through the gate, her posse trailing. My yard was quiet again, save for a stray floatai bobbing in the pool. Monday, I filed a police report with hours of footage. Linda trespassing, admitting to it, leading her unauthorized party. The officer was stunned. She claimed HOA power she didn't have, and threw a group trespassing event. I nodded, handing over witness names. Within days, Linda faced charges for trespassing and harassment. The local paper ran the story, and Willow Creek buzzed. The HOA board ousted her in an emergency meeting. Greg, once her ally, led the charge. You lied about our authority and put us at risk, he said. Linda resigned, blaming health issues, but no one bought it. Her reputation tanked. Neighbors shared their own Linda horror stories. Her sneaking into garages, rearranging lawns, bullying over flower beds. The new HOA president, a no-nonsense retired principal named Ellen, started undoing Linda's shady policies. Linda put her house up for sale, unable to face the neighborhood scorn. I added a 10-foot fence and kept the temperature system, partly for security, partly because I loved tweaking the water for my couch. Dave, the tech, swung by to check the system. How's your trespasser problem? He asked, smirking. Solved, I said. She's done swimming anywhere. He chuckled, then offered to set random temperature spikes for therapeutic purposes or to keep future Lindas out. I didn't hesitate. Do it. As he programmed it, I stood by my pool, the sun sparkling on the water. For the first time in months, it felt like mine again. But here's where it gets messy, folks. Was I wrong to rig that trap, knowing it'd humiliate Linda? Should I have kept playing nice with the HOA instead of going rogue? And what about Linda? Was she just a power-hungry bully? Or did she genuinely believe she was helping the community? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button if you're team private pool, and subscribe for more Wild Neighbor sagas. Let's hear it. What would Sayu Saw have done?